I've lost my thought when I got with that one. I mean, really. But what was I?
Let me go back to a question I asked earlier, because you come up with different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get them from? What do you read books to get those? Who tells you these things? Do you make them up as you go along? Because not in a bad way. I'm not saying this in a negative way, but do you feel that this is what happens or what happened? How do you get those concepts of different beings and different stages? Where do you get that from?
Well, I said before, whenever I'm focused in on something, I'm like a laser. I'm focused.
Right.
Everything I've ever done has been like that. And I got the concepts of the Bible. I got that driven into me, and I read it. I tried to be a good Christian. But it's interesting because the ones that wrote it are the ones that have been here, that were the ones that was thrown from heaven, they say. I always ask the church people, where did those creatures go? Anyway, they understood where all the information is. So, I mean, what better way to doctor up the stories so that they can make it happen? Because they got all the weaponry, like HARP and Operation Bluebeam. They got all this stuff. They sent Quebec an earthquake in February to move the tectonic plates in the St. Lawrence River. And then we had a flood, right? Never had a flood. But anyway, when I started to look into the star seeds and all that stuff, I'd gone to a workshop, my very first one, because I decided after waking up, I was losing it. I just was not comfortable because I had nothing else. And I couldn't call on Jesus or any of this stuff because it was ridiculous. And I realized everything had been a lie. So I went to that workshop. They were doing something on the native reservation at the medicine wheel. And they showed us that there was a white, black people, red people, and yellow people. And the chief explained to us the different herbs that fit our systems, because people who are taking we are organic. And people are taking all this medication is all synthetic. They shouldn't be doing. Anyway, I shouldn't say that because I don't have a right to judge them. But anyway, that's what it is. So they were doing a smudging and a saging ceremony where the chief comes to each person standing. We were about 20. When he got to me, I'll never forget, I looked up and I thought it was a hummingbird. And it might have been another kind of bird. When he got in front of me, I fell back, and I was gone. They asked me when I got back, where did you go? But I realized I was before what they call 12 councils. Anyway.
Did you know about it then?
I didn't know about that.
No. You didn't know about that? None of this?
I didn't know about the 12 councils, and and I went down there to prove to see if I can get more information on what I had been reading. And so my daughter was standing next to me. She was with me, and of course she freaked because the way I fell back, I was like out, but I was like slowed down just like bent, but just suspended and she was freaking.
Were you conscious during that time?
I was somewhat, but I was feeling such peace. And I was just gone, basically, I think, anyway. And she was screaming, and she was calling me back. I didn't want to come back, really. And when I did land, somewhat, I don't think at that point I had gotten totally back, because I said, we have walk-ins. And I said, where am I? But when I looked at the ground, I couldn't figure out, was it solid? And it took, I don't know how long for my legs to get where I could walk on it, because it would seem like like I was going to go through it. Oh, it was mushy. Anyway, the chief kept me after. And that's when I felt like something was pressing on the left side of my brain, my head. And that is when I became unable to not research.
Where did you research?
I've been researching. I've been going all over the country, actually. I was in Chicago a couple of weeks ago. I went to Philadelphia to other workshops, trying to see what I could prove or disprove about what I'm believing now. Because, I mean, after you've been lied to the way we have, you know, all the society, it's time you start investigating what you're putting in your head, in your life, and whatnot. So,
when you talk about workshops, what workshops are we talking about?
Metaphysics, quantum physics, where we work on the tools we came here with. And those tools have been given to every human on the planet. And that is telekinesis, that is ESP, that is having the ability to manifest any and everything you need and you want. But we've been taught not to do this by the people who understand, like I said, the ones who escaped the flood and all these other millennials. You people know what I mean. We've been doing this dance for 3 to 4 billion years, folks. It's time to get off the rock and stop it now. But according to the church people, they were thrown from heaven and they came to earth. And again, let's identify them. These are the ones that are still here. I don't understand why people don't get it. They didn't leave. The humans in Noah's day, if that story was true, which is, it's not. And all the things that I'm saying, like I said, these, I can give you facts, but it's only truth until you say it's true. But before you say what I'm saying is idiotic and not true, I would suggest you do your own work.
Now, how that was my question. How do you do this? How does someone who's listening to this now find out about these things? Okay, I'm interested. I think it's fascinating. You have I like what Geraldine is saying. So what do? I
go inside first.
Of course.
That is very important. And it's easier said than done because it's been said to me. But then, you know what? Go inside, superficially. Because if you're still doing this, everything you're going to do, everything you're told is going to be superficial. You got to get out of this and get back here.
How do we do this?
To realize, turn off that television. Realize that you're not being told the truth. I mean, it's all around us. It's almost like that movie, like they said in Matrix. It's all around us. And it's true. But now I have to back up. Because a lot of souls that came here and made their contracts have decided that they don't want to wake up on this issue or that issue. They have their own timer for when they will see truth. But the thing of it is that we know that the calendar is wrong, all wrong. And actually, we might be in 2013 right now. We also know that the Olmecs created the calendar that the Mayas are using.
Wait a minute.
OLMEC.
Who's that?
These were the civilizations before the Mayas. The Mayas didn't have the ability to create a calendar. They were what you call it, farm type of, which is not, doesn't minimize them. But the fact of the matter is that all our history has been suppressed.
But we did find artifacts from the Maya civilization.
Yeah, but you got to look at the Olmec, and then you will see. And if it
have we found anything from that civilization?
Oh my God, those big Negroid heads, the Olmecs, is all over the planet. The Buddha is called a perfect black. What is that other Krishna? That's blue-black God. People need to spend time and start to research and look into things, and not just sit there and let somebody tell you what life is. Because humans, beings, you are more powerful than you can ever imagine. Get started now, because we have 3 suns now. The sun is not bright. You need to look into the sun to declassify your pineal gland. Keep looking into the sun until a glare disappears, and you will see it will adjust. But that's more lies.
If I talk to an ophthalmologist and tell him that, he's going to say, you're crazy, you'll go blind.
Well, of course he needs your money, doesn't he? He ain't going to tell you so you'll be able to strengthen your eyes and stuff like that. Why would he tell you?
So you're suggesting that I should look in the sun straight up? And
you will see it'll disappear. The glare, what we think is a glare, is going to disappear.
And then what will I see?
If you look into the sun, that sun goes into your eyes. It goes into your third eye, which is the pineal gland. This is what's dead. This is what they have told us for years. Oh, you only use 10% of your brain. Yeah, with your education, we call it public fool system. I wouldn't send a kid to the school at what for? But I'm telling you, I would send, they say, a kid 10 years old, leave them alone. Don't make any more decisions for them. Be there to support them, but do not give them any more advice.
Are you suggesting not to send kids to school at all?
Oh, I wouldn't. I would not send them near that building. You send your kids.
That the dropout that we have.
Thank God for the dropouts. That's the geniuses.
Yeah, but what happens to them in a society where everyone else has a diploma?
Oh, well, good for everyone else. Just because everybody has some don't mean it's good. But when you look at everyone else, they still paying off those loans. What job have they got? I would tell every young person, hit the beach. Get your frisbees, get your dogs, because they must be free enough in their minds to create, not sent to war to be blown to bits. Not in these stupid jobs with looking like McDonald's, got on these stupid hats. This is outrageous.
How do you pay the rent?
How
do you survive? How do you eat?
He don't want me to go. You don't want me to go there. You really don't want me to go there. I heard this information is being covered. Your birth certificate is a bond.
And?
You can pay your bills with that bond. You see the lies that's been perpetrated on us? We all think we have to work. We didn't come here for that. But we've been lied to, and we've been deceived. Do you know in 1938 in this country, there was a prepaid accounts made from the bankruptcy of this country, of Canada, prepaid. You were supposed to sign your signature for everything, and they're supposed to balance the books by that. We are in bankruptcy in this country and America, but we had remedies. No one is even looking. If you tell people that, they just talk right over you. But yet they worry and complain about the bills they got. Do you know that the moment you go and buy a car, the moment you sign for it, it's paid.